Tom, Mike, and Justin. How you doing, guys?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well, we got Google I/O coming. A couple of you guys are off to the show next week. Pretty excited?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very excited.
Very excited?
Very.
You didn't look
Tom, wake up.
Thought I'd gone all.
Fail.
So we got a lot of things to cover today. There's a whole bunch of stuff supposedly going to be announced next week, and let's jump right into it. I think the first thing we should probably hit up is Jelly Bean.
I think that's a good starter topic.
Say again?
I think that's a good starter topic.
That's a great starter topic. So what do you guys want to put in on Jelly Bean? You know, we haven't heard a whole lot about this. It's like either it's a top secret project or there's not a whole lot we're going to actually see in Jelly Bean, as we haven't heard much through the rumors. What do you think is going on with it?
You know, I mean, conflicting stuff. As I read that article you posted just yesterday about the content you wanted me to write about. In there, the guy's kind of saying that he doesn't think it'll have anything to do with what's going on at I/O, because, you know, I mean, typically the Nexus stuff has come out with the newest version of Android, and those have always come out towards the end of the year. So that throws me off a little bit, but I don't know. I've been reading some other stuff that makes it seem like they might bring it out soon. I mean, it's not supposed to be a huge jump from ICS, so I don't see, you know, why not make a few improvements and then just call it Jelly Bean, you know, 4.1. I mean,
yeah, from everything I've heard, it's definitely not going to be Jelly Bean 5.0. There's nothing that says it'll be Jelly Bean 5.0, and there's no reason we would have a Jelly Bean 5.0 at this point, because I don't think they want to change the UI again. We're not like Apple, and so when we go to another version, another number up, we actually change our Android ecosystem and our UI.
right.
So there's definitely no reason to call it 5.0.
Yeah, I mean, if they did another 5, it's too soon from us, from our screen sandwich. It's just gonna, if they make another big jump, then it's just gonna alienate people even more, because I mean, it's taken, you know, phones and tablets to get ICS long enough as it is. If Jelly Bean comes out with a huge new revamp, then it's not going to be good.
There's only about a 7% adoption right now of ice cream sandwich. So
Wow. You might want to dial that number ahead a little bit.
oh, has it changed now?
Galaxy S2 users on AT&T and T-Mobile now have ICS, as well as Resound users on Verizon. Just
And
got
the
the official
Sensation,
update.
actually.
And Motorola Razr users will be getting it within the week.
Well, those numbers should be going up, definitely, but I can't see them.
Should go up to 50%.
50%.
I'd be willing to wager that by I/O they will say 50% of Android users now.
50%. That would be quite a big jump from the 7% I was reading.
Well, if you think about it,
half ago.
how many users bought the S2?
Yeah.
Millions.
I mean,
1 million.
I've got 4 people in shouting distance at work that own the S2.
Oh, right.
All.
Well, I think Jelly Bean, we're not going to see a whole lot from Jelly Bean. From the word from one of our writers before, from an inside source, is that Jelly Bean is going to be a small update, not to expect a whole lot. It's going to be more of an update than so much, a major overhaul. We're going to see small bug fixes and some smaller incremental changes, but it's going to be nothing like 5.0 that'll probably debut in the fall. Now, do you think, guys, that we're going to see Jelly Bean released right away? How soon we're going to see it?
I'd be willing to wager that it will be on the Nexus Tablet and then on the Nexus phones when they come out this fall.
Now, I would have to wonder if in the fall if we would not be seeing 5.0 on those new phones. Or would that be too soon?
5.0 this early.
I think maybe we'll see it on the Nexus Tablet, and I think that might drop at I/O, and then they'll push it to consumer release next month. I think that if they're going to release a Nexus phone, it's probably going to be more towards the end of the year, and they might push a 5.0 out then.
Maybe.
It might be still too soon. So Jelly Bean may debut on the tablet, but it probably is not going to hit mainstream because they're still just rolling out ICS right now.
Yeah.
So, good chance.
I think what I might have this time is like something they did with the 2.2. They announced it, and then like the month later it went out to the Nexus, and it was open source. I think we might see something like that, but I think it'll launch on the Nexus tablet when it ships next month, if it ships next month, and then it will roll out to the Galaxy Nexus and hopefully the Nexus S.
Definitely would make sense, Tom. I can't really see that, you know, with ICS just coming on to phones right now, then them announcing Jelly Bean, and then another UI come in November. That's going to severely fragment, you know, the software itself, and there's no way that the OEMs or manufacturers are going to be able to catch up with that. So let's talk about what we think we might see on Jelly Bean, though. I mean, we haven't heard a lot of its features. Like you say, there's going to be small updates and bug fixes. But me and Mike were talking the other day. One of the things that might be a selling point on the Jelly Bean to get the crowd into it and some hype for it, potentially could be the Google Assistant. Project Majel, is it called? Majel?
Yeah. I think it's going to be something. I think it's going to be something like that. I think it's going to be like a gingerbread from Froyo kind of leap. It's going to be a slight tweak to the UI, but not much, and then it's just going to have like one big feature like the Assistant, and then they're probably going to leave it at that.
What was that? That was in the article that I was posting. Had like a small image that they posted from the I/O. I guess like an I/O image they took, and it shows like the search bar up top is a little bit tweaked from the original ICS Holo theme. You know, maybe that's has something to do with the Assistant.
So basically, they took this screenshot,
right?
Except it was on another phone, and when they took the screenshot, what he's talking about right here is the search bar up there. Instead of it being white and like you said, Holo, which is the theme HOLO. It looked clear and white.
Had kind of a translucent look to it.
So basically, Google Siri is be coming to Jelly Bean is what we're looking at.
Project Majel or Majel or whatever you want.
I think it is.
Project Majel.
It's going to be interesting to see how many people murder the name of that. I think they got to come up with a better name.
It's going to be called Google Assistant because Project Majel refers to Gene Roddenberry's wife.
Yeah.
Who voiced the character.
Now, do you think Google
on Star Trek?
Do you think Google's coming a little late with this product? Do you think they should have had that out early? I mean, they had Siri already. There's tons of apps already out there as voice. LG just announced their voice today. Everyone's getting in the voice game.
Siri doesn't work that well, man. I used it on a 4S the other day, and it wasn't that great.
The problem.
No, it doesn't work that well.
The other problem they're having is, who cares if LG and Samsung have their own voice app? All they did was called up Nuance and said, hey, Nuance, let us borrow your code because we're all Android buddies now, and we're all going to make our own apps. They all act the same.
And they're all pulling from Wolfram Alpha. I mean, it's got limitations to it. I mean, Wolfram doesn't need freaking everything.
And then if it doesn't do that, it defaults to Google Search.
Right.
Google Search just pulls up a Google window. I mean, honestly, with what they did in April, the possibility of what they could do, now, mind you, I'm going to put a little side note here and say this is not what they will do, but what they could do is it has the potential and the possibility to say, I don't know, I would say, with my voice, I would search for it, and it would pop up and say, what do you need? And I'd say, tell Tom, Chris, and Justin of a meeting I'm about to have in 30 minutes. So there is the key to set a meeting. Also, pull, tree.jpg out of my gallery. When you've done that, upload a video to Google Plus with all 3 gentlemen tagged, and then, you know, I don't know, you could even go as far as post it all to a blog. Technically, it could do all this. It won't, because it's stupid, but technically it has the ability to do all of that, because it have access to everything that Google owns.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the problem with LG's Quick Voice and you know, Samsung's S Voice. I mean, whilst they might work quite well, they're just closed down ecosystems. They might do things that, you know, the Samsung phone can do, but if it's part of Android, then it's gonna seamlessly integrate. Whereas it's just a closed thing on the S3 and the LG phones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I certainly hope that the voice recognition software is a little bit better. Between Siri and S Voice and all these apps out there, the one thing that seems to be a common problem is that these voice recognition software is not doing exactly what they're claiming to do. You know, you see these commercials with Apple, and they're talking to the phone, and it's answering back and stuff. And anyone who's actually used the phones or the applications know that this isn't what's happening on the other end. You know, I was trying to ask it, you know, for directions, you know, and it was sending me to a web page. And I think that's how 90% of the applications are running right now. So it'll be really interesting to see if Google can pull off something that'll actually upset these other, you know.
My favorite Siri action is, Siri, I'm not doing too well. Call me an ambulance. Okay, from now on, I will call you ambulance. Okay, that's fine. But I'm sick. I don't feel well. I need to go to the doctor. Searching doctors. Okay.
And then it begins, and then 10 minutes of trying to get it to stop.
The one thing you have to realize with those Siri commercials too, and I realized it the other day.
Obviously, it's all scripted.
Well, that and the one with the girl from the TV show New Girl. You have to watch when she goes and presses the button, because when she actually does that, she's asking very, very simple questions. She talks entire sentences, but then halfway through the sentence, she'll press the button to talk to Siri, and when it replies, it replied to a very, very, very simple question, even though she made it seem like she asked an entire sentence. So she said something like, "You know what, Siri? I'm hungry. Where can I find soup in the area?" And I was like, oh. And then she said something like, "It doesn't look good out there. Man, it looks like it's going to rain. Siri, is it going to rain today?" And it's like, yes. It's like, oh, there we go again.
It definitely seems like the mobile platforms are in a war here for the voice actions to see who can be the best, and I think they all still got a lot of work to go, and I hope that Jelly Bean has definitely got some type of answer. I'm sure that they will have something on there. Let's move on to something else, because I think, you know, the Siri thing, it's going to be on there. But what other types of tweaks do you guys think? I heard something about UI scaling for external displays.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that already the Android UI scales quite well. I can tell that from experience, because it's easy to scale up, but I have rooted and hacked the Motorola Moto Active, and a lot of apps actually scale down really well. Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice if they were to scale as well, also with Google TV and so on as well too, because there's just some apps are still not scaling, and I don't know if that's the developers or not.
Can we see Angry Birds on there?
Oh yeah.
That's got to be pretty interesting, playing Angry Birds on that thing.
Well, I actually use the review unit Moto Active, or the Moto Roadster 2, for audio, and so I get this blazingly loud audio of a red bird flying across the screen on this pinpoint screen. It's like, was that the red bird?
Did you use a magnifying glass to play?
I should have, but I was afraid that in the sun it would have burned up my Moto Active.
What about also there's some talk about local recommendations in discovery. Google Maps is obviously, they already made an announcement recently because they were worried about Apple's new maps that were coming out that are powered by TomTom. So I think they may have revealed a little early about what Google Maps had in store. But local recommendations and discovery on Jelly Bean could be something else that we can see.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty awesome if that kind of stuff came in, because here in the UK, there's a few apps that do kind of like local things. Like, I think I've got like an app that does like grocery things nearby, but it's not very good because, of course, people aren't going to, kind of go all in on one tiny service. But if Google rolled something out for local stuff, then that's something for people to get behind, because they're going to get to a huge amount of customers at the other end.
If it was just a pack-in with their phone.
Well, now that they have acquired Zagat and they have their Google offers and so on, I think you're going to start to see a lot more integration of that as well too.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to touch on was Google Games. A merger of Google Plus and Chrome and Android games. Now, this should be a big thing, and I think this, it has the potential to really get a lot of traction, a lot of excitement for this update. If you get a lot of these developers, coming together, and more of kind of a storefront for the gaming section, a mega merger of the Google gaming properties. Definitely, gaming is probably the one area where we're lacking compared to maybe some of the iOS apps. This is definitely something where Android can catch up some ground on that. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, actually, I think leaderboards, which is what they would eventually get to, would actually be, quite nice. Its leaderboards would get me playing Angry Birds a lot more. I play it now for something to do.
Are you talking like a game center type of thing?
Yeah, because they've already got it on Google Plus, and I'm not going to name any names, but I was speaking with a developer 8-9 months ago, and I said, these games are really awesome. I like how I can compete with my friends on Triple Town and Angry Birds. That's so cool. Is that coming to mobile? My answer was, oh yes, that'll be on mobile.
So we definitely should. So we definitely should see something with Google Games integrated into Jelly Bean as well too. Is that what you're thinking?
Whether it's in Jelly Bean or whether it's just a thing that they can send out in a Google Plus update, which is more likely. Because where I think Google Assistant is more of a framework thing that'll need to be sent out with a update, Google Games is more of a update with an APK from the market, something simple, something that's probably just a G+, maybe a market update, at the same time or something.
Well, now we also, there's talk of Linux. Well, obviously, Android is based on Linux, but there's talk of more integration with the actual Linux operating system with the programming and back end.
Linux and Android just became friends again.
Yes.
They were fighting for a while because Linux did not believe that Android was a proper version of their Linux software. So they were having a battle, and that's over now. So.
Well, now that I think it's Linux 3.3 is where you're going to see some more Android mainlining the project, and from what it looks like, we're going to see more code in there that's going to be more direct Linux based, which probably could help them with some of the patents and how some of the systems runs, and maybe streamlining, just how Android platform works overall. Tom, you're a Linux guy. Have you read much about that?
Yeah, I think because they came out with the, I think it's the Linux standard kernel, where there's quite a lot of Android drivers inside the Linux kernel now, which makes it a lot easier for like Cyanogen Mod 9 on the touchpad. They're going to move to like the 3 kernel, the 3 series kernel, because of these Android libraries being integrated into the main kernel branch, the one you can get at kernel.org. But I think it's right for the patents kind of thing, because I don't know what patents the Linux Foundation own, but I'm fairly certain that at this point they've probably got quite a few up their sleeve. So if kind of Android is going more into things like the ePad transformer and things that are kind of blurring the line between a laptop and a tablet, doing more desktop stuff, having these patents or having closer integration with the Linux kernel, which can basically do pretty much anything, is gonna be good for them. I think if they're going to work with the Linux kernel and the Linux Foundation, if they work with the Linux Foundation a lot more, I think kernel adoption and drivers will be a lot less of an issue.
Well, definitely something that users won't see right away, but I think it's going to be something that is going to be good for the long term, obviously, of Android and the UI and patents, Oracle lawsuits, who knows what else.
The general user probably won't see it, period, because they won't even know what they're getting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So here's another one I wanted to throw at you guys, what we're potentially going to see, and I know this has been a hotly kind of debated one between me and Mike, and that's the Project Glass.
Definitely want to be there.
Now, Mike, just give the viewers at home a small brief introduction in case they don't know what Project Glass is. Tell them what it is.
So it sounds like Justin has the same affinity I do for these. Basically, although it looks a little weird, the idea is that it's a pair of, it's half of a pair of glasses. Hence the Project Glass name. They said there's only one piece. Oh, stop it. Oh, what's that? Another Canadian has joined the podcast. Is that Bret Hart? Is that okay. Anyway, so basically, there's a piece of glass over your eyeball, and you can see through it, and it will also display and project images. Google Maps is one of them. You'll be able to send a Google Plus message. You'll be able to see if friends are doing things. You'll be able to see how far away friends are with latitude. Right now, it just basically takes pictures and video, but eventually those things will be postable to Blogger or Google Plus. So
it's basically going to be like a phone on my glasses, is what you're telling me.
From what they say, and from what the FCC is saying, there is no phone within it. It will not need a carrier. It will run off your own phone. If it runs anything, again, I'm going to bring up the Moto Active Watch, but if it runs anything like the watch, my watch gets a full day's worth of charge, only gets down to 45% battery or so in 8 hours, and I get calls and text messages, weather, sent to it. So if you're uploading, I imagine you'd even get maybe better battery because downloading sometimes takes more. But then again, it's more of an interaction probably than anything. So
these are my Google Nexus glasses here. This is how I'm going to tape this on. Okay, in all seriousness though. What are the odds? Maybe Justin, now that you're done eating, you can chime in and help us out here a bit. But what do you think the odds are? I'm not going to ask Mike because I know he wants to see them. What do you think the odds are that we're going to actually see these at Google I/O?
I think the odds are pretty good. I mean, they've obviously leaked a few photos that show they're somewhat ready. I mean, they're probably not production ready to hit the store shelves, but
we need 700 of them. Maybe they only plan on selling 700.
I think yeah, they're going to sell them to a few elite in the U.S. I think honestly, with the increase in the amount of number that they've done for testing, I definitely think we're going to see some more out there. I think I/O is a good kind of, I guess, jump-off point for that. Having them drop down there. Maybe we'll get to see some of the attendees pick them up. Maybe they're just going to be going to a lot more Google employees. but I think they're at least going to demo them. I think that there's a good spot for them to be able to show off what they can really do at I/O, because there's going to be a lot more people in front of them, you know, kind of on stage or in front of stage for them to see what these things can really do. So I think it would be a good idea for them to bring them down there. I think it would be good to show them off there. If they really want to be able to get it out, especially they have, you know, the live stream that they're going to be doing, so it's going to really kind of get the availability out there a little bit more. You know, I mean, I have that video that people can watch on YouTube and stuff like that, but not a lot of people, you know that that's there. I mean, I've shown the video to a ton of people, and like, what are these? You know, so I mean, you get anybody to watch that Google I/O live stream, and can kind of pair that with the amount of people that are going to actually be attending the conference. That's a lot of press coverage for it.
So,
Yeah. 5,000 words of mouth goes a pretty long way.
So you guys think basically we're going to see these glasses there, but these are not going to be announced as the product release date, or that these are going to be coming soon. From all the reports we've heard, this is just something that's
think
is still in the pipeline.
production ready is probably a little further off. I think it would be awesome if they were production ready, but I think from all that I've read, I don't think that they're quite there yet. I do think that they will probably show them off at the conference. I mean, I feel pretty strongly about that. Maybe it's a little bit of hope, you know, mixed within that. Just because
You just want to try those on.
I just want to try on a pair, you know.
I think we all want to try out a pair.
Those on.
But I think that they'll absolutely show them off, you know. I think it would be a good idea. They definitely need to get more word of mouth out there to it. I think it's a great product, and I think that people would really kind of utilize them a little more if they knew a little bit more about them. So I think it would be a good idea to show them off. I think they'll see them. I think they'll be there, but I don't think that they're going to be ready for maybe quite some time.
So you think they're going to be? It's a good idea to show them off. Now let me point this to Tom. Do you think it's a mistake though that they're showing off?
Am I still here?
Yeah.
All right. I think I don't think it's a mistake. I think it'll be. I think it's going to be something that's going to draw up some interest. Because if you know, I think I was just about to say I think that Google Assistant is going to be the key to this. I think that without something like Google Assistant, because I mean, you can put all the voice recognition and control software in the Google Glass themselves, but if you have that linked to your phone and the phone's doing quite a lot of the horsepower, Google Assistant is going to be a real key, because if you put Google Assistant, Glass, Google Plus, and all these things together, then even if you just say, well, we've not got it yet, but they're here and they're coming,
But I mean,
then people.
do you think? Sorry to interrupt, Tom, but I mean the point I was trying to get. Do you think showing them off this soon in early production hard on a product, especially when it's in an
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. But I think it's going to be. I mean, depending on how, like you say, depending on how like far off they are from production ready, it could be a mistake. But I think that I've got to reference the Microsoft Courier here. When they showed off those leaked videos of the Courier tablet from years back, that thing was that looked awesome. But because they never ever said anything about it, people sort of, especially the tech press, they kind of lost interest. Whereas if Google showed them up, say, well, we've got them, they actually work. They're not coming yet, but they're coming sometime whenever, and they name like a randomly vague date some far off in the future, then it shows that Google have got this kind of stuff and they can do it, and that they will do it.
Fair enough. Now, the other side of the coin might be is the problem that they're showing them off now. They've tipped their hand to Apple to come out with the eyeglass, or to Microsoft for the MS glass.
The eyeglass.
Not Microsoft. Not Microsoft.
Hey,
Don't be
they're willing to do anything.
No, stop it. Stop right there, because you're being silly. Don't say Microsoft.
Realistically, I mean, I'm sure in some factory in Japan right now, or China at Foxconn, there is an eyeglass being built. Obviously, I could see, Apple's going to want to get in the game, because they see this probably as a revolutionary product as well too, and tipping their hand, to a non-finished product could be at a disadvantage to Google? What do you guys think?
Well, Google has actually done the smartest thing they've done yet. And every step away, they're patenting different pieces of Google Glass. So there's not going to be a whole heck of a lot of good way for Apple to patent it without making it completely different. But they're gonna end up coming out with eye monocle, and it's going to be something.
Exactly. You hold up, and it's and that fits Apple because Apple people are a little bit upper crusty, I think. Yeah, so they're going to have with a top hat, and they walk around and they can use Siri all they want, but it's not going to be as good.
Well, Apple, when they
Hipster
come out
does.
with their glasses, it'll be like they just invented this product and no one else ever had it before, and theirs is the best thing since sliced bread. And they're not afraid to sue or take anyone to court. So I don't know how much that'll slow them down. Hopefully, the project, by them tipping their hand and getting people interested in showing off the product, doesn't turn out to work
Apple's
against them.
not going to be able to launch it until WWDC next year. And so they're going to come out, and Google have already announced it, and somebody's going to say they're catching up again. And they'll really be catching up because they'll be like, we got iMap. iMap's so cool and innovative.
They could announce it with the new iPhone 4 SS.
It mixes with iMonocle.
The iPhone 4 SS.
Yeah, really. The beauty of iMonocle is you can mix it with Apple Longitude. Not Google Latitude, no. Apple Longitude. And find out where all your friends are.
Nevertheless, I think the project's going to create a lot of excitement at Google I/O. You guys are sure going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully, you can get your hands on it, or at least stand next to it, get a picture taken, so we can actually see you next to the glasses. I think Michael will be very happy with that and get a picture framed, blow it up, and put on his wall for sure.
Maybe we can each wear a pair and take a picture of each other wearing them with the glasses.
I heard they could do that.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Okay, now that we've made enough fun about the Google Glasses, they are going to be a great product, and hopefully we get a chance to, see a lot more of them. Next, let's cover the Nexus Tablet. Now, Justin, you wrote a novel about it today.
I'd try to be thorough.
And you were. It was an excellent article. It was well done. You didn't miss anything. Why don't you talk a little bit about the tablet and what we're going to see out of it, even though, there might be someone out there that lives under a rock that hasn't heard about it.
It's of course, anybody that's heard anything in the wind is known as it's going to be a 7-inch tablet. I think if there's any smart thing they've done for themselves with a product, it's going to be the Nexus Tablet, because they have a few Nexus phones already, but they don't have a tablet out there yet. And they've lost a lot of money on the Kindle Fire. It's the #1 selling Android tablet out there. As cool as the Prime is, as cool as some of the other tablets, the Galaxy Tab, the Zoom. They have a lot of cool products, but none of them sell better than the Kindle Fire because it's at a $199 price point. And only thing remotely Android on there is Gingerbread. It's running the App Store from Amazon. It's running, no Google Maps. There's no Google Search. So any of the stuff that's integrated that Google makes money off of is not inside the tablet. So they really need to be able to push this product heavily and make sure people buy it up. And $200 is just at the right price point. If the rumors are true, it'll have an IPS display as long as a quad-core take-up processor. Those are quality pieces. You find that on the Prime, and the Prime is a $500 tablet. So somebody that comes along and says, I can get the same processor and a more portable piece of equipment for $300 less, absolutely, I'll buy it. Kindle Fire, what is that? I think if some of this stuff is useful, then you're going to see a lot of people wanting to hit shelves to pick these things up. So I think it's a really, really, really justifiable reasoning that we might see this thing at I/O and have it released in July. There's a little bit of talk that what we might see at the conference will be the 370T, the ePad Mimo 370T, which I haven't really read a whole lot about. But I know that's something that Asus has apparently already announced, and typically with a Nexus device, Google isn't in the way of taking a product that's been announced to one name and then releasing it to something else. It's announced as a Nexus and that's it, and then it comes out, people buy it and they love it. So I'm not really too sure whether or not what we're hearing about is going to be stuff that we see in this other Asus tablet that they're making. But I'm really leaning towards the fact that it's going to be the Nexus, especially based off of the fact that they need something they can, gain some monetary ground back with. The fact that they don't sell as well, I mean, people know that the iPad is still a better selling tablet than anything out there, and the best thing that they have going for them is the Kindle Fire. That's enough of a reason for them to put this out ASAP. Do
you think that's the major reason why Google decided to put out this Nexus tablet, is because of what Amazon did with the Kindle?
I think that's probably the biggest influencing reason.
Forked version of Android on top of that they're probably
Absolutely.
not too happy about that.
Absolutely, they can't be happy about that. I mean, they make no money on the Kindle Fire, really. It's got nothing that gains the most of their monetary source. I mean, their biggest thing is search, right? And they make no money off of that in the Amazon Kindle Fire. So I think a huge point for them to gain some money back, or gain some of the profit they've lost, because you can put a tablet out that competes with that price. But it's going to be pure Google, and it's going to have everything that people like about Android. It'll have all the Google integration with Maps, with Voice, with YouTube, with the actual Android Play Store. It's going to have everything that people like about their phones. And it's going to have quality stuff. Integrity processor, I hit that and never look back. I mean, that's like the best thing in a tablet that I ever could have wished for. So I think people are going to love everything about it.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think? Do you think Google is really mad that basically the best-selling tablet is running their operating system, but no one notices it because it's so forked? You think that really pissed them off?
Mad/proud.
Mad/proud.
Well, if you think about it,
it's like ghostwriting a book.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get any credit for it.
It's on something they invented, and someone or helped to invent, and someone took that and made a monstrosity out of it, and then ended up making it work for them. And so in a way they've got to be like, oh, this is kind of horrible. And another way they've got to be like, whatever. I agree with Justin, though. I usually tell people about the new Nexus tablet. Is like, okay, well, they're going to have a $199 tablet. And people go, what? What's this? What's this? And they get all kind of excited. And then I tell them, where the Kindle Fire was an e-reader with internet capabilities, this is going to be an internet box with e-reader capabilities, basically. And then their ears perk up even more, and it's kind of like, ooh, this is interesting. So people get kind of excited by it.
Let me throw this at you. Do you think that possibly this is maybe a little bit of Google, getting a little antsy towards the fact that they haven't made that impact into the tablet market that they were hoping against Apple, and that by selling this low-priced, tablet that they're gonna, get a larger market share, and that they can control everything? Is this kind of almost a desperation, or do they want to show the other OEMs and manufacturers how it should be done?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I definitely think they want to show the manufacturers that, hey, you can't change too much about our software, and get away with it. We'll come in and we'll smash you with an iron hammer. But I think that I think a little bit it comes from the fact that they've lost some ground with all of the other tablets out there. I mean, the Android tablets are cool. Don't get me wrong. I stand behind them full force. But there are a lot of people out there that just talk about the iPad. And as much as it sickens me to the point that I want to puke, that's what other people like. They need to make some headway here, and I think really this might be some form for them to kind of push forward a little bit. It probably won't bring them as close as they want, but I think it's going to make some major ground.
I think this is finally the tablet that people will go, instead of asking me what iPad I have. Yeah, I get
yes.
a lot.
Oh my God, dude! I was on the bus over to and
is that an iPad Mini?
First thing somebody says is, "Oh my gosh, look at that kid's iPad! I'm on my Prime, and I'm sitting there." I pulled it out of the laptop, even, which the iPad doesn't have. It doesn't have that. And they're like, "Look at that kid's iPad. Yeah, that's an iPad. It's so cool." And I just wanted to reach over and backhand this kid. God damn it, it's not an iPad, you know, but I resisted.
No.
I just went about my business.
Smack them with a thing, and then when the Asus logo imprints across their big fat face.
Like a brand.
See it in the
They can be
morning,
like,
yeah, they wake up, what is this, Asus?
Nice.
Oh, so where the kids with this tablet.
Now, Tom, you live off of your tablet, and what do you hope to see? You know, because we've had tablets basically for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now, and they pretty well all look the same. They all look the same. They all pretty well have the same specs, the same hardware, and up until recently had a pretty crappy operating system running them. What do you hope to see out of this new tablet? You know, do you want to see something just the same with the bugs worked out, more innovation towards the IT side?
I mean, I have, you know, I've got my little Acer A100 here. It's like a 7-inch thing. And once the Nexus tablet drops, that thing's getting sold, and I'm going to buy a Nexus tablet because I've got a stock build on that. But it's just, I mean, for one, the screen's not very good on it, and the hardware's not all that good. And you know, when Google are going to partner with someone like Asus, like, you know, I mean, Justin's got his ePad Transformer Prime, and that thing's built. That thing is built like, that thing's awesome. You know, that thing's beautiful. Whereas this Ace thing's a little bit plasticky, it's flimsy. So for me, I mean, ice cream sandwich has been a huge leap from honeycomb. This thing came with honeycomb on it, and honeycomb compared to how ice cream sandwich runs on this was just, it was not fun. It was jerky. I had to mess with the build prop for ages to get all sorts of stuff working right. But I do think that they've got to come out with something slightly enterprise related, or something that's going to push people that actually have some form of work, even if it's just like reviewing documents or something like that. Because, you know, Microsoft have come out with the Surface, and whilst I don't really think it's going to take off much, but you know, with that keyboard cover especially and the kickstand, that is the perfect middle ground, just like the Transformer Prime is, for people to go out and say, well, you know, I need to write something like, or I've got some emails to respond to, but I can't stand to do it on this phone or this small tablet. So if they came out with, you know, a higher resolution screen, the 1280 by 800, and some improved enterprise features, it might actually be like, it might fit everything. You could do slight work on it and do all the things you would like to do on a Kindle Fire. Because let's be honest, casual users for a Kindle Fire, they pick up a Kindle Fire, they go, oh, well, I've got this great tablet, I can read books, watch movies, get apps, play games. That's all they really want to do. They're done.
You can't go to the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. I think, you know, I mean, they rebranded the Play Store a while back for this specific reason, I think. I mean, you know, when people say, oh, I'm going to the Android market to get a film, or, you know, I'm going to get, you know, to go get movies. It's like, well, why would you do that? But with the Play Store, this fits in nicely as almost casual kind of one-stop shop for everything. You can just, you know, I'm just going to go on the Play Store and see what new games are out on my Nexus tablet, on my Google tablet.
I think one of the biggest things also too is Google putting their name behind it in the Nexus image and selling it in their store. One of the problems we've had with some of these OEMs only releasing to certain carriers, only into certain stores, and not making it widely available, and as well updating and so on and getting some bad press. I think this is going to be the most marketable tablet ever produced by Android, obviously. And I think if Android is going to make their mark in the tablet market, it's going to start with this Nexus tablet. And I think basically they're entering the tablet game now, because everything else has been, you know, besides the, you know, some of the Asus products and the Exum and so on have been great in their own rights. But I think they finally got it together and they have a good product for people to get excited in. If you can't afford $199 for a tablet,
what can you afford?
You're living in a second type of, you know, class citizen here. But you have no business owning electronics. At $199, my nephew has more in his piggy bank, and he's 5. You know, so he can afford to go and buy one. And I think that's what it comes down to, is that there's a price for everybody. And look forward to seeing it. I'm sure that's one of the definite things that we'll see given away at Google I/O. I think that's pretty well a given. Let's try to wrap it up a little bit with some of the other products potentially. Google Home Entertainment System. We've seen some stuff last year where Google was talking about, you know, doing through Wi-Fi and syncing up through the home through Google Music, through Sono, I think it is. Mike, Mike, you've had some experience with them. They're pretty expensive products.
It's expensive, but it works amazingly.
It does.
It's not junk. It's far from junk. I was in my bedroom, and we were synced up Wi-Fi, and we had my wife's little brother sleeping over, and he was out in the living room and just kind of hanging out. We were behind a closed door and everything, and I turned it on, and I nudged my wife. I said, "Watch this." I whispered to her, and I turned on some like Dean Martin or something. And he's like, "What are your neighbors listening to?" He yelled into our bedroom. "I'm going to come and slap them if they don't shut up." And then I turned it down a little bit. And then he's like, "Well, now it's quieter, but it's still annoying." And I switched it to like some smooth jazz or something. And he's like, "This is pissing me off." And then I turned, all the while I had eclectic music going on in my bedroom. So both speakers were working together, or working separately to play different music. And so I just kept yelling, "I don't know what you're hearing, dude. I don't know what's going on." And so finally he got up and like came in our bedroom and was like, "I'm going to go tell him right now because I can't sleep." And I held up my phone and I said, "Oh, ha, ha, ha." You know, we're controlling the music. And he was like, "Oh, that pisses me off." And he's like, "That was a pretty good gag, though." And he was all kinds of annoyed and just, it was funny. So it does work, and it works well.
Well, hopefully we'll see something more from them. I know it was a cheap product, so hopefully they bring it down to a consumer level price point where people can actually afford it.
Well, if you think about it, people buying home audio systems are looking to spend a lot of money. They're not like
I'm not.
Well, I mean, you're willing to go.
Well, I'm an average consumer.
You're willing to spend a decent piece of coin to get in there. I don't think I've ever heard anybody go out in their day and be like, "I think I'm going to go buy a $100 surround sound system." It just doesn't.
Well, you may have that point, Mike. You may have that point. Moving on now, we also have Android at Home, where Android decided it wanted to get into the light bulb game.
Yeah.
You know, they were supposed to have some light bulbs last year. That never panned out. I guess the lights went out on that project. I'm not sure exactly.
I don't think we'll see it this year. I don't think it's secure enough. I don't think it's safe enough. I don't think it's something anybody's going to want. It's kind of like the app in the market that's $150 or whatever, and it's like start your car with your phone. And it's like, so wait, it's a $150 app, and then I have to get all the stuff installed by myself? That doesn't make any sense. But somebody did it.
There's definitely, I can see the potential in it. I mean, because a lot of these companies are building, software for their coffee machines, dishwashers, washing machines, lighting systems, sprinkler systems, and they all have to come up with their own UI interfaces and programming and so on, where if maybe Android can put something together where they, instead of them having to invest that money into the software and so on, they could use the Android system. That would be great. I'm just not sure it's that far ahead.
So you're saying Microsoft could do for home electronics, or excuse me, Android could do for home electronics what Microsoft did for computing?
Yes, they could turn on my coffee maker at 7 a.m.
Oh, if that happens, if I can order a coffee from my phone or tablet, well, that's it. I'm done. That's all I need in life.
Why not? They all need some type of software electronics to work. So
it's interesting. I don't know.
Come on, Mike. I'm sure you'd like to be able to turn on the microwave from your phone, turn on the popcorn machine while watching a movie from the hit of a button.
Well, to do that, I'm gonna have to be like, freezer, launch my burrito into my microwave. Microwave open now. Turn on.
You have to have a series of conveyor belts linked to each other.
No, it's just gonna be like
like a rocket
through the air.
One last one I wanted to touch on here was Google TV. We were making fun of it a little bit earlier. I've had some experiences with Google TV. I feel the technology is still a little bit lacking behind with some of the applications. They've been working on this project for a couple of years now and haven't really gotten it, to take off the way they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Apple TVs had some of the same growing pains.
That's true.
But we're supposed to see something coming out from it. How excited are you guys about Google TV? I mean, it's been a couple of years now. We've wrote about it. Is it really something that we want to hear about anymore? I mean, have they lost it? I mean, the TVs, they all have apps. There's a huge potential. Every TV's coming with apps and all kinds of stuff in it. How come they're not using the Google Android platform for it?
Here's the potential I can see most users going about TV. So this is a very, very, very big dream. Don't think it'll happen. I don't have any insider information. But something could go along the lines of they come out and they say, okay, well, we'd like to, thank you for checking out Android. The last thing for the keynote today is we've got the CEO from Steam here. And, he's here to show us some things. And so he'll turn on, the TV, and all of a sudden you'll have Steam on your Android tablet, and then it'll move to your television, and you'll be controlling things with your Android tablet on your game of Steam, playing around, goofing off, seeing stats, basically like what the Wii U would do, but it would do it for first-person shooters and indie games and such. It's possible. Or they could buy something like OnLive, and it could project to the television.
I think that would be a wonderful iteration.
I don't see television, internet television. Heck, 1997 through 1999, we saw web TV fail, fall flat on its face. And nobody wanted internet TV then. I don't think many people want internet TV now.
But, do you guys, would you be interested in playing with your apps on the TV?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would.
Big apps, maybe. But Angry Birds, no. Fruit Ninja, no.
Or are you guys just interested in surfing the web on your TVs?
That doesn't get me either, because I'm the kind of guy that I'll throw a movie up or I'll throw the TV up and then I'll just get my tablet and I'll just surf with that. Now, if the integration between the tablet and Google TV is, if I can, I don't know, interact with something, kind of like Xbox and their Smart Glass, but obviously for Google TV and Android. If they kind of had something where, Google TV worked out with providers like Netflix, and we've got LoveFilm over here. If they kind of did things like that, where I can, where interact with things, so like I'm watching it on the Google TV, and then on my tablet I can learn more about it or see, how many episodes, things like that. Like if there's integration between the two, then that'd be good. But I don't think I'm going to sit so far away from my TV and then just surf the web on it.
Well, I have to tell you, that was the biggest thing I was impressed with, is when I put it on my 70-inch TV. It was the largest browser ever, and I thought that was just the greatest. The apps for me were kind of a fail. I was not impressed with the quality of the apps. Hopefully this year we're going to see more integration, and they're going to push more for the developers to get better apps out there. And hopefully we can see that, when programmers are making apps just for phones and tablets, that they maybe start to, that these apps will also work on Google TV, because the app market for the Google TV is very small. And, and it's hard for a product to become successful when such limited amount of apps. So. All right, I think we hit enough on Google TV. Other things we might see at I/O, Chrome, obviously Chrome OS, the new Chrome box, the small little box with the, I'm not sure how exciting that is going to be for Android people, but it's going to be nice to have small little computers. That'll be great. We'll probably hear some YouTube stuff, some more Google Drive integration, commerce, and maps. Justin and Mike are going to be there next week covering for Android Headlines, and we'll have all the latest stuff for you guys on our site, so definitely stay tuned. And thanks a lot for tuning in. Thank you, Justin, for showing up finally. And Tom, all the way
happy to be here.
And Mike seems like he's disappeared for a moment. I think the power went out at his house. So anyways, have a good night, you guys, and thanks to all the viewers for tuning in.
See ya.
Night.